Hi, everybody. This is Bill Sanders, and this is sort of a on the road version of Watch Art Sci. I'm in New York City for the annual WatchTime Show that is going to be on Friday evening. And so, what I wanted to do, I thought it'd be a good time to sort of ask you what you'd like me to ask. And so, between time you see this video and about 3 p.m. on Friday, respond to the comment sections under this video. And what I'd like you to do is put questions you'd like me to ask for these different participants in the Watch Time Show. Now, let me tell you who they are and ones I'm likely to spend any time with. The first is Armin Strom. I'm a big fan of Armin Strom's work, so I'll probably spend some time there if you'd like me to ask him something. Arnold and Son, um, Artisans de Genève. This is a new one. Not only is it new to the Watch Time Show, I think it's new, period. I'd like to talk to the guy and see if they're up to. RDA is another one. I'm reading all of these things off of the bill they have. RDA Genève. This is an interesting company who always they come out at the Watch Time Show and they have a lot of interesting stuff, but they rarely make nominations, and I don't know if they've ever won anything. But there's something about them I like. Bell and Ross. To me, this is a very interesting company simply because, well, two reasons. First of all, they were bought by, I mean, this is lock, stock, and barrel, by Chanel. And Chanel has invested a lot in sort of setting up this high horology movement making in, where is it? La Chaux de Fonds. And so they've made like about eight new movements, and they're all for women's watches except one, the first one. That's on the Chanel Montreux. So I'm thinking, well, they'll probably do something with the Bell and Ross. Now I know they have already, and they're like 50,000 bucks or so for these other watches. But I'd like to talk to someone at Bell and Ross and get a sense, because most of the time, by and wide, like you get Solita movements and but really interesting watches. This next one is Bianchet. They're tourbillon watches. I'll take a look, and if there's something you want me to ask them about, I'd like to know. Blank Pawn. Uh, Blank Pawn is very interesting. The thing that kills me about Blanc Pawn and the next one, Breguet, is they're both owned by Swatch, and Swatch is stuffing in the silicone hairsprings. And so, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask them if they're ever thinking of creating a watch with a regulator in it. Okay, Blancpain, Breguet, both of the designs, the history, and everything else. The thing I like about Breguet is some of the ones from the 1980s and 90s that have movements by Daniel Roth. Those are cool. Next one, Carl Sushi and Sons. I don't want to try to mispronounce it, so I won't try. It would be Carl Soche Unsunda, I think. Chopard. I'd really like to talk to Chopard. I think what I'd like to see from Chopard is sort of, they have some sports watches in the Mille, some of those, but see if they would have sort of trying to bring the price down to the most expensive ones and bring the quality of the movements up in the least expensive ones. Chrono Swiss. Chrono Swiss, I don't know. Let me know if you're a big Chrono Swiss fan, what you'd like me to ask them. Citizen. Now, Citizen covers a lot of territory. So let me know what you'd like me to ask about them. I'm say, hey, yeah, about these guys. Cyrus. I think Cyrus has movements or some kind of arrangements with Crenode, but I may be wrong. I'll ask and find out. Chopek. Chopek has been on the move and they've made some interesting stuff. So anything you'd like to ask about them, let me know. Fears. This is uh, I guess they would be considered a micro company of some sort, micro tickers. I'd like to see what they've done, what their plans to do. They have possibilities. Let me know what you think too. Fortis. I just can't think of Fortis really going into anything nearing high horology. If they look like they're doing something interesting, and if you have a question you want me to ask them, let me know about them too. Frederick Constant. Now they are owned also by Citizen. See what they're up to. G-Shock. G-Shock is great, but they're basically quartz watches, I think. Gerald Charles. Gerald Charles started off. Last year was the first year I saw them at the WatchTime Show, and what I've seen so far is sort of they have that same case design and everything. I'll see if they're doing anything more than that. Glashütte Original. This is one of my favorite Swatch-owned companies, and the thing I like about them is that they're one of the few. They have some of the few watches that they didn't put the silicon in because they have this what they call pano inverse, and they have this regulator that regulates both the frequency and the beat. Interesting stuff. Girard-Perregaux. Yeah, I gotta ask them, hey, how would you guys like to do something with Larique? I don't think so, but I'm interested in what they're up to. Maybe we could work out something with them. I don't know. Their stuff is so good and so expensive, and man, I don't know. Hotulence, that's another one. I know that Ali had one of the Larique guys had talked to them about some kind of deal with Larique. I'm not sure what it was, but that would be interesting. HYT. I don't know. They're the hydro ones. They died. Now they're back. I don't know what to do with HYT. Interesting watches though. H. Moss and Company. I think that this will be our meeting place. I mean, when we gather a bunch of guys who are, either who hang out or attend the Watch Art Sci stuff. I don't know. There are a lot of possibilities here. We'll see what they come up with. Konstantin Chaikin. Yes, that's another one. His stuff is really interesting. He has the one with the googly eyes and stuff. Let me know if you'd like to have him. Laurent Ferrier. Let's see what he's up to. His stuff is generally good. Leica. This is another one I'd like to find out more about. Now, remember, Leica is famous for making quality cameras, not watches. But they've been making their own watches, and I understand either they make their own movements or they're working with someone who makes their movement for them. Ella Ra. That's a tough one. I had an Ella Ra, and I would like to see them. They had one of the most beautiful watches I've ever seen, but they put a ETA 7001 inside. They had a 40 millimeter case with this little bitty pin-sized movement. I don't know. I'll see what they're up to, but they're beautiful watches. They really are. Messina Labs, I would like to find out who their collaboration is. Man, maybe there's another one that Larique might want to collaborate with. MB&F. MB&F they collaborate with lots of people, but I think they want people who have talent. Larique, we have about the only talent we have is wanting watches and bringing a bunch of guys together who are willing to put up for the coin everything on that. Ming, that's funny. I'm wearing my Larique Etude number 2 watch with a Ming bracelet, but they're doing stuff with watches, and they have one of the watches they have has an um, Agengraph chronograph movement, so that's something. Maurice Grossman, Christine Hutter. I will be talking to Christine, and every year, Christine is like Lucy. Every time we're ready, hey Lucy, hey Christine, how about this? We'll buy all up your hammatics. There's a hammatic movement I just love. Instead of a rotor, there's this thing that goes like this, like a little hammer that's called hammatic. And I talked to Christine Hutter at one time, and I said, hey, it's like to do this, and we'd buy them up from you for a price. So of course we're talking about a really nice price. And she finally said, well, maybe 20, but every year she says, well, a couple years from now. So I don't know. She's great though. Her watches are fantastic. Norcoin. I'd like to see if I think it was Norcoin, and one of those ones, they had some really innovative stuff out of Norcoin. Oris. I'd like to find out where they're going with their own movements. Same with Parmigiani, I have 3 of them right now. I really like Parmigiani. The ones I have though are the sort of pre this latest move. What Parmigiani had a hard time selling watches because people didn't like the looks of them, I guess. I don't know. Some boneheads didn't like it because it reminded them of Parmigiani spaghettis or something, just crazy stuff like that. Well, it's not. It's Michel Parmigiani, one of the few really great living watchmakers. Piaget, it's another company that has, I'd like to see where they're going. Now, they're owned by Richemont Group. See if anything interesting there. Resonance, they're interesting stuff, but there's something about, I think they have like a lot of quartz stuff in them, and so. RGM, Roland Murphy. I'd like to talk to Roland. He's a great guy. He doesn't look like a watchmaker, but he's a cool guy. Sarpaneva, this guy from Finland, I would really like to. His designs are great. I would like to see if he's doing anything as far as movements are concerned. Ulysse Nardine. Yeah, that's another one. I'd like to find out what they're up to. Urbeck. Yeah, that's another one who I would like to. Yeah, just say, what are you guys up to? Let's see what they're up to. Wooten Landon. Probably said it wrong. Harry Wooten Landon. Yes, I would like to say hello to Harry. See what he's not up to. Zeitwinkel, that would be one I'd be interested in. Zenith, I would really like to take a look at their sort of revival of the Zenith 135 and see, and maybe they might be interested in having a more affordable one for the rest of us. Anyway, so those are the ones that are going to be there. So here's the deal. In the comments section, say, hey, I'd like to know about this from these guys, and now do this before 3 p.m. Eastern time. Because I'm going to be, so I can gather all of these things and put them in some notes and take them with me to the show. And then I'm going to try to have some interviews with these different people and some of the things that they had to say. Anyway, that's all for now. Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection, and hope to see you soon.